In a rotting world, beneath the arch of a collapsed gate, 3 men shelter from a relentless, pouring rain. They are not hiding from the storm. They are hiding from a story so monstrous, it has fractured their belief in the very nature of reality. A samurai is dead. His wife has been violated. A bandit has been captured. The events are a skeleton. The truth is a ghost. This is not the story of a locked room. This is the story of a locked truth. A single crime with 3 witnesses and 3 confessions. The bandit, the wife, and the ghost of the dead samurai himself. All of them confessed. All of them are liars. Logic has failed. Reason has collapsed. This is not a case for a detective. This is a case for an autopsy. An autopsy of the human soul. Our forensic anatomy begins. Before we can find the truth, we must first dissect the beautiful, self-aggrandizing legends the characters have built. Each testimony is not a report. It is an elaborate performance, a work of art designed to paint a very specific portrait. First, the bandit, Tajomaru. His testimony is not a confession. It is an epic, told with the bravado of a conqueror. He speaks of luring the samurai into a trap, not with brute force, but with cunning. A fabricated tale of ancient swords hidden in the forest. He boasts of his conquest of the wife, and in his telling, her initial resistance is not a violation, but a fire that melts into a mutual, burning passion. But the climax of his story, the centerpiece of his legend, is the duel. He claims the wife, empowered by her own shame, demanded the 2 men fight to the death. He describes a magnificent battle, a clash of masters over 23 passes, a dance of death beneath the silent bamboo. He was victorious, not as a murderer, but as a superior warrior. His is a perfect legend. Next, the wife, Masago. Her story is another masterpiece. It is a tragedy of honor and victimhood. She casts herself as a fragile flower, a symbol of purity broken by the cruelty of men. In her telling after the assault, she looks to her husband for comfort, for a sign of shared pain. Instead, she finds only a cold, silent contempt in his eyes, a gaze that judged her, condemned her. The weight of that judgment, she implies, was more brutal than the bandit's attack. In a haze of grief and shame, she faints, a pearl-handled dagger clutched in her hand. When she awakens, she finds her husband dead, the dagger mysteriously in his chest. She is a perfect, tragic victim. Finally, the most impossible testimony. The samurai, speaking from beyond the grave through the chilling voice of a medium. His story is not a confession. It is a monument to honor. He speaks of the ultimate betrayal. After the assault, his wife did not weep or beg for death. She begged the bandit to take her with him, away from her disgraced husband. She even demanded the bandit kill him. Betrayed by both his enemy and his love, the samurai was left alone in the grove. Overwhelmed by a grief so profound, it transcended life itself, he took the dagger and performed seppuku, a noble and honorable suicide. He is a proud warrior, choosing death over dishonor. 3 stories, 3 perfect legends. A hero, a victim, and a martyr. All built on lies. But the question is not who is lying, it is why. A lie is a weapon. A lie is a shield. It is the story we tell ourselves when the truth is too ugly to bear. A perfect lie is a work of art. To understand it, you must understand the artist. We must now dissect the motive behind each masterpiece of deception. Why does the bandit lie? He is a captured criminal. His execution is a certainty. He has nothing to gain, no freedom to win. He lies to protect the only thing he has left, his legacy. He cannot bear the thought of dying as a petty thief, a pathetic opportunist who killed an unarmed man. So he builds a legend. He lies to be remembered not as a criminal, but as a mythic swordsman, a force of nature who bested a samurai in a fair fight. His lie is a monument to his ego. Why does the wife lie? She must survive, not just physically, but socially. In the rigid patriarchy of feudal Japan, a woman's worth is her purity. To admit to any ambiguity, any flicker of desire, or any active role in the violence would make her a lifelong outcast. So she builds a shield. She wraps herself in the fragile armor of victimhood, casting herself as a passive doll, broken by the cruelty of men. A woman so overcome by shame, she loses consciousness. Her lie is a desperate defense against shame. And why would a ghost need to lie? This is the most frightening question of all. Because even in death, the samurai cannot escape his identity. His entire existence was built on the code of Bushido, on the concept of honor. The truth of his death, a weak, pathetic end at the hands of a common bandit after being betrayed by his wife, is a truth so unbearable it follows him into the afterlife. He cannot allow himself to be remembered as a coward. So he builds a phantom. He rewrites his own ending into a noble act of martyrdom, self-inflicted. His lie is a final, desperate shield for his pride. Ego, shame, and pride. Three powerful human forces, each one strong enough to bend reality itself. But if these are the masks, what is the horrifying face of the truth beneath? We return to the Rashomon gate. The woodcutter, our silent witness, finally breaks. "They are all liars," he whispers. "I saw it all." His version is not an epic, not a tragedy. It is the antidote to the grand lies. It is the final autopsy. First, the forensic anatomy of cowardice. The bandit, Tajomaru. In his own story, he was a conquering beast. The woodcutter's truth rips that mask away. From conqueror to beggar, after violating the wife, Tajomaru was not arrogant. He was besotted. He did not command. He pleaded for her to go with him, promising to give up his life of crime. The beast had become a puppy, subdued not by a sword, but by a woman. His honorable duel was not a display of skill. It was a pathetic scuffle. Both men were terrified. They fought not like warriors. They fought like dying animals. Their swords trembled. Their movements were clumsy. Tajomaru won not because he was better, but because he was luckier. His final cut a moment of chaos, not a masterstroke. Our forensic conclusion: the bandit's ego is a lie. He is not a tiger. He is merely a feral cat, ruled by the base instincts of lust and fear. Next, the forensic anatomy of cruelty. The wife. In her own story, she was a tragic flower, crushed and wilted by grief. The woodcutter's truth turns that flower into a venomous snake. From shame to incitement, when faced with the two men, she did not weep or plead. She laughed. It was not the laugh of madness, but of pure contempt. She saw not two warriors. She saw two cowards fighting over her. Her line, "Only the survivor is worthy of me," was not a victim's plea. It was a declaration of war. She was not the prize of the duel. She was its instigator. She turned a situation of humiliation into an opportunity to assert her power, reducing the two men to beasts, forcing them to kill for her validation. Our forensic conclusion: the wife's weakness is a lie. She was not a passive victim. She was a ruthless director who lit the fuse of violence with her own contempt for masculine weakness. Finally, the forensic anatomy of collapse: the samurai. In his own ghost story, he was an icon of honor who chose a noble death. The woodcutter's truth burns that image to ash, from honor to impotence. When tied up, he was not defiant. He was forced to witness not only his wife's violation, but her potential willingness to follow his enemy. He then heard her declaration of war. In that moment, he lost not only his wife, he lost the entire foundation of his samurai honor. The struggle to survive. When untied, he did not fight for honor. He fought for his life, desperately and pathetically, just like the bandit. He did not want to die. He was afraid to die. Our forensic conclusion: the samurai's honor is a lie. His death was not a choice. It was a pathetic outcome. The armor of Bushido shattered, leaving only a naked man, ruled by fear and collapse. This is the ugly, terrible truth. But even this is not the end of the autopsy. For there is one final lie to dissect, the most subtle and perhaps the most dangerous. The lie of the objective witness. The priest, his faith in humanity broken, looks at the woodcutter. "If you saw all this," he asks, his voice trembling, "why did you not say so at the trial?" The woodcutter freezes. His body language shifts from righteous indignation to furtive guilt. And the final, brutal truth is revealed. His testimony at the trial was a lie of omission. He did not tell the full story because he did not want to be implicated. He did not want them to ask about the expensive, pearl-handled dagger. The dagger that he stole from the crime scene after the bodies were gone. The woodcutter's lie is the most insidious of all, for it is a half-truth. He used the depravity of others to mask his own. He placed himself on a moral high ground, acting as judge, while he himself was a thief. The bandit was ruled by ego, the wife by shame, the samurai by pride, and the woodcutter, our final witness, was ruled by greed. The case in the grove has no solution, because it was never a logical puzzle. It was a mirror, reflecting a truth more terrifying than any murder, that there is no such thing as an objective truth. Every story we tell is warped by the telling. In the labyrinth of the self, the biggest lies are not the ones we tell others, but the ones we tell ourselves.